Hello, everyone, and welcome to Harv's World for another episode of Ravensberg. I'm just getting ready to go to work, and work isn't quite where I left it. Oh, it's the last day of summer, which really makes the timing pretty awful here. It really, really does. As you can see, I have moved to a small house out here in the forest. And, well, Herr Huber no longer wishes to, or I should say, he no longer requires my services. He came to me the other day, he said, "Harv, I have bad news." Now, he wasn't a jerk about it or anything. He said, "Harv, I didn't know about your troubles in the Caribbean. And my attorney just informed me of what's been going on, and I can't have that. So I have to let you go." I said, "Wait a minute, I cleared all that up. That's been taken care of." He said, "I don't care. It's a bad history, and I've got a reputation to protect. I understand you would be disappointed, but," he said, "I feel bad. You can keep the car for a while. You can return it later when you're settled, but for now, no more work for you." Or something along those lines. Needless to say, I have been scrambling ever since. Running around town, running around Ravensberg, asking around, seeing if there was any work available, and some people directed me to Frau Baumann, or Frau Baumann. I started talking to Frau Baumann, and I told her everything right up front. I'm like, "Hey, I'm coming here from Pineapple Bay. It's there's some trouble." She's like, "Do you know what you're doing on a farm?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Good, because I don't. I don't know what I'm doing on a farm, and I inherited this land from my grandparents. It had been run down, everything had been sold off, and in tribute to them, I'm trying to build the farm back up. But I've had nothing but troubles. We have very limited equipment. I don't know what I'm doing. I need somebody who does." And so we came to an arrangement. Now, her troubles are nothing short of extreme. So she bought a herd of cattle. The cattle all got some kind of illness. She had to put them down. So she's just replaced the cattle, but she's also out of money. As you can see, there's only about $16,000. She's got this field here, ready to harvest, planted with sunflowers. She's got a field down here, planted with rye, right about here. And then there's about 112, 113 head of cattle, but they're all young cattle, so they're not even ready to pop out calves yet, nor are they producing milk. Worse than that, she's got no food built up. She's got nothing to get through wintertime, and very, very, very limited equipment here. Now, I think she made a mistake. I'm not going to fix that mistake because it will come in to our advantage, but she bought a big John Deere, mid-sized John Deere. It's not a big one. It's a mid-sized John Deere harvester with the headers. So that can be helpful. She's got 2 tractors, one little dinky one for basically, it's pretty much going to be a manure loader is all it's going to end up being. She's got a decent set of mowers here, a tedder. She's got a mid-sized Massey Ferguson. That was a good selection. Of course, I wasn't going to leave my Fendt over at Herr Huber's, So that's come with me. And then she's got a manure spreader, one grain cart, basically. I mean, it's just a trailer, and then a loading wagon, which that's a good purchase too. Nothing else. There's nothing in storage. No fertilizer, no seed, no lime, no herbicide, no sprayers, no nothing. Now we're at the end of summer, and it's pretty much, I mean, the only opportunity I have at this point is maybe if I can scrounge the money together to get a winter crop in for her. And making hay to get us through the winter, which there's plenty of grass around the farm. That's the only thing I can take advantage of at the moment, is any grass that's currently growing, and I have to hope that it doesn't get too wet during the fall to dry that out and turn it into hay. Because it's not like the clover hay where we could just ted it and it becomes hay. This is a situation where we need to give it drying time in the sun. So that's where we stand. Frau Baumann has, I mean, she took me on, and we worked out an arrangement. Now she does have, and I don't know how she got this, but she's got some silage fermenting, so that will give us some food. She's got some alfalfa silage fermenting, that will give us some food. We get the hay in there, that will cover our 3 food groups. But in winter time, these cattle are not at all going to have grass within their pasture. Anyway, I need to keep the cattle alive. That's kind of my big goal right now, keeping them alive so we can get to a milk production stage. So I think my first task on Frau Baumann's farm is going to be to start making hay. Now I also need to get those fields harvested and ready to go, but I think getting the hay ready is going to be the first priority. That really needs to happen as soon as possible. And yeah, I know I'm bringing out the big fent for this, but I'm going to try to do this all in one fell swoop. I'm going to try to mow and ted at the same time. I don't think the little Massey has the thrust to weight ratio. Yes, it's this, you know, the Fent's a rocket powered tractor, so thrust to weight ratio is important. No, I just don't think. I mean, the Fent is, or that Massey is actually a really nice sized tractor, but I don't think it's quite got what we need to handle what needs to get done here. So I'm going to drop down here because this is going to be the biggest. I mean, we don't even have a wind rower here, so I don't know how I'm going to work all of this out yet, but man, it's such a limited amount of equipment. Well, at least we have haymaking materials, and I do have ways to collect it, so that'll work. That will work. It has to. What else can I say? It has to work. Okay. Let's make some hay. She also told me, take this for what you will, but she also told me, so you remember the guy that I was telling you about that Herr Huber was in such a competitive crisis with? Well, between him and Herr Huber, they have kind of been, because of their little competitive streak, they've kind of been doing a lot of damage to the smaller dairy farmers in the area. And so she's concerned about that as well. You know, those guys with their big farms and their big money are not making it easy on the little guy. In this case, the little girl, little woman. I don't mean to be condescending. That's not the point I'm making here, but you understand what I'm saying. So I told her not to worry. I would do the best I could to get her farm squared away where it needs to be. I said, Frau Baumann, I have the skills you're looking for, and frankly, I know what Herr Huber is up against because I just spent the last several months working for him, which made her turn an eye at me and go, you worked for that guy? And I said, hey, he just fired me, so don't act like don't think I've got any allegiance to him whatsoever. That's not even a concern you have to worry about. I said, regardless of what his reasons are, he still fired me, so anyhow, I said, I'm the guy to get you sorted out. I will get you sorted, and frankly, if I have my way, we're going to put you right on par with the Herr Hubers and whoever that other guy is that's got him running scared. So I think she was a bit reassured by that little speech of mine. And it's not like I was just blowing smoke up her lederhosen. I meant it. We're going to start with 100 cows, and Herr Huber's going to be spinning, absolutely spinning when I'm done. Oh yeah. He's going to be going, why didn't I keep him working for me? And I'm going to be going, ha 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 ha, all the way to the bank. Well, at least for Frau Baumann. Now, the one thing that she does have going for her, she has kept up good credit with the bank. So, if it comes down to it, and it looks like it may, I might have to take advantage of that, because there are going to be operating expenses here that just can't be ignored. Cannot be ignored. But I don't like loans. I don't like paying money to people just to borrow their money, so I am going to keep that to a bloody minimum. So that's where things stand. Over the course of the summer, I've lost a job and gained a job. But you know what? When I start thinking about it, I start thinking, you know, I'm not sure I would have been terribly happy continuing to work for Herr Huber anyway. You know, it's not like he was building anything up. He was just building to build. Just building up so he could be better than somebody else, which, as a general rule, I'm not really a big, I don't really approve of. Okay, let's set up for a harvest, shall we? Yes, let's. So now whatever hay we can get off of that grassy area. And I'll probably end up plowing that also so that I can get better grass. But for now, it's just whatever grass I can get. Okay. Let's park this up right about here. Grab the harvester. Well, let's see what this bad boy will do for us, if anything. Well, I'm sure it'll do something. I'm just not sure what. She did kind of it's no wonder she ran out of money. And she was smart not to go into debt when she felt so insecure about what was happening here. And we've got too much moisture. I was afraid of that. Okay, well that didn't take too long. Just only had to wait about an hour. But we're off and running. I hope we get at least enough rye and sunflowers off of these fields to bring in a little bit of money. Now the rye is going to produce straw. That's going to be important. We're going to need that for our cattle. Because frankly, in this situation, the manure is going to become extra important. Not producing as much because there are fewer cattle, but I'm going to need to use as much of it as I can for fertilizer. I'm going to need to use as much of it as I can for fertilizer as is possible, and at least she did have the wherewithal to buy a manure spreader, so we have that going for us. Things aren't good, but they're not nearly as bad as they seem. I do have means of earning money for this farm and keeping it operational, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue, especially since she does have some limited equipment, which will make things exceedingly helpful. Last of the rye coming off the field. That wasn't so bad. It didn't take so long. This is a decent little harvester. I mean, it's not that big old Kloss that Herr Huber had, but you know what? That's in the past. We are looking forward at this point. Looking forward. And I feel bad for Frau Baumann. I want to help her out. I want to get her settled. I want to get her squared away. You know, one of the things that she said to me was, I feel like one of the villagers under King Waltzmann. And I said, well, I haven't been in Germany long, so I don't know what that means. And she said, well, it's German folklore, you see. King Waltzmann was a king who was brutal and bloody, and he used to like to torture, and he would actually hunt the local villagers. And he was such a brutal man that one day the gods cursed him and his entire family and turned them to stone. And there's 7 mountains around Berchtesgaden that are representative of the family members that are entombed and encased in stone there. And I said, oh, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, she's talking about Herr Huber and his little competitor and how they've pushed the smaller farmers aside and are making things difficult for them because they're occupying the milk market in central Germany, so at least in this region. There we go. Almost 22,000 liters of rye. Almost 22,000 liters. And what are our prices looking at on rye right now? I was just looking at this. That's spelt rye is $5.42 at Agricultural Trade Issinghagen. Where's that located? as far away as it possibly can be, of course. Oh gosh, it's all the way down there by Herr Huber's farm. That's going to be a long trek. So you know what? I'm going to put this in our silo. We have a little silo. It'll hold for a while. It's not going anywhere, but I know I've got at least $10,000 worth of rye. So the farm is not broke. It's not broken. I don't have to tap into those funds just yet, or you know, into the taking loans and such. Besides, I need to get this sunflower out, and then I really want to get that straw baled up, and that's going to require a trip to the shop. I'm hoping I can get all of this done today. Fingers very, very, very crossed. Very crossed. Because this hay is going to have to sit for a couple of days. Although this afternoon is some good drying weather. We're up to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, so all I want to do right now is harvest up these here sunflowers now that it's dry enough before we risk any possibility of them getting wet again. I don't need that. Sunflowers, here I come. Maybe these will bring in a good profit too. We'll see when I'm done. So we ended up with 9,500 liters of sunflower seed. Not bad. These fields were not well taken care of. They weren't completely fertilized. They didn't have weeds though, so at least we had that working for us. And there is actually a pretty good price for sunflowers right now, so I am going to genuinely be running these up to sell them off, get some extra cash in here, hopefully around another 10 grand or so. So all in all, we didn't do bad from the crops that she had set up. I don't know why she picked them, other than the rye would provide straw for the cattle. That one made sense. I'm not sure about the sunflowers, but hey, cash crop. That's probably what she was thinking. She needed some kind of a cash crop on top of her rye. So let's go sell some sunflowers. Now, you may have noticed that obviously I moved out into the forest in a little house out there. Well, it turns out in my discussions with Frau Baumann that she does have a section of forest as well that her grandparents left her, and they had a cabin out there. They like to go out there and get away from, well, I mean, it's not very far away. Yeah. Anyway, it's not very far away, but enough to get them just out of the village for a while, you know, a little bit of separation. Is this where I'm going right here? I think it is. Is it? Or am I missing something? Looks like it's around back here. There we go, I just couldn't see it from the road. Okay, let's sell some sunflowers. Not bad, 13 grand. 13,000 euros, so I'm probably speaking in dollars again, but it is euros. And that was a nice short little jaunt. At least it wasn't halfway across the valley. And I didn't have to go back down by Herr Huber's farm. Okay, I'm just going to drop up this trailer right here. Gotta run down to the shop and grab a baler. And try to get that field baled up. I want the straw baled ASAP. Well, I found a baler that isn't too outrageous. Looks like it's some kind of an off-brand Galignani, and I'm having a hard time getting the angle on this thing. Yeah, we'll sort it out. There we go, that should do. Okay, and as you can see, it makes smaller bales than usual, although it is considered a high-density baler, so it's making high-density small bales, only 1,500 liters. I'm off kilter again. What in the heck is going on here? It has a very narrow pickup, apparently. Very narrow. See if I can grab that last little bit here at the end. Not that it really matters that much, but still. But I think this oh, I thought I had, whatever. Maybe this will be better. Maybe this angle will suit me better. There we go. So this should sort us out for straw bales. With a little bit of luck, this will provide us enough to keep those cattle in straw for a while, which in turn will produce the manure we're going to need to keep these fields well fertilized. Keep your fingers crossed. Now, I had a lot of opportunity to talk to Frau Baumann leading up to this job. As you might guess, we did have some lengthy conversation. She's a very pleasant lady, I have to say. Very pleasant indeed. And very polite. Not that that's necessarily what you need in an employer, but it is nice when your potential employer is very, very polite and respectful. You know, they say it tells a lot about a person, about how they treat their underlings or people in positions less than them. And I think that's true. Anyhow, we were talking quite a bit, of course, as I said. And, man, I just cannot nail the pickup on this thing. Oh, well, if I gotta come back, I gotta come back. Stuff happens. We were talking, of course, and she brought up the story of the evil king hunting and killing the villagers. And there was one little piece of German folklore that I happened to know, and I said, well, Frau Baumann, if I can do it, I'm going to turn you into a Princess Brunhilde. And she smiled and chuckled a little bit, and a little bit of a tear dripped down her cheek. And she said, oh, I hope so, Harv, I hope so. Now, if you're a fan of Bugs Bunny the way I am, you may have heard of Princess Brunhilde in one of the Looney Tunes cartoons where Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny were doing opera. Kind of playing at Wagner. Anyway, Princess Brunhilde was a princess. Duh. And she was being forced to marry a giant. His name was Bodo the Giant. And of course, she didn't want to be married to Bodo the Giant. I mean, who does? I don't want to be married to Bodo the Giant, do you? No, I didn't think so. Anyhow, as the story has it, she managed to escape on a white stallion. And she was fleeing across the countryside up into the mountains. And There's a place in Germany. It's a, I guess it's like a craggy hilltop. It's called the Rostrappe, or the Rostrap. Rostrap. I don't know. I'm going to struggle with the German pronunciations of these words, so I apologize. But anyway, it was a craggy hill called the Rostrap or Rostrappa or whatever you want to call it. She got up there. There's a big crevasse that she needed to cross to escape Bodo the giant. She thought she was trapped for sure, but her brave stallion understood how dire the situation was, and that stallion reared back and gave one mighty leap and jumped across the crevasse. And Bodo the giant came chasing after, and when he reached the crevasse, he tried to jump across it as well, and lo and behold, he fell to his death. So Princess Brunhilde escaped the giant, Bodo. So what I meant by that is that, you know, Frau Baumann might just find that she has a white stallion that can help her escape the trap she feels being between Herr Huber and this other guy, and the way that other local dairy farmers have been damaged by their A, competitive nature, and B, their big business-like attitudes toward dairy farming. So I said, maybe Frau Baumann, you'll just find that I am your white stallion. Which is pretty cheesy. And but I feel bad for her. I really do feel bad for her, and I want to sort things out and get it all squared away for her. You know, she's doing something that I completely respect, and that is she's trying to restore her heritage. She's trying to bring back what her grandparents built and was lost over time for whatever reason. I didn't ask her to explain what had happened, and she didn't really offer any explanation, but she doesn't owe me one. I was just touched by her story that, you know, she wants to pay homage to her grandparents. Maybe I should just be skipping a row like this, and I'm picking up a little bit of grass, but it's just going to get converted into straw, so that's okay. Although I probably need the hay more than straw. Anyway, Frau Baumann is doing something that I completely respect, and I want to help her get it squared away, and in the process, you know, make a living for myself. And whether the line was cheesy or not, and you know, at the end of the day, I do want to help her, and I did want the job, so I was going to say what I had to say to make her feel better. Oh, as you can see, it's going on midnight, and I just finished the baling. I'm just going to pick up these bales, toss them in this trailer, and get them stored in one of the bale sheds I've got over there. This is going to take a while. Oh, well, we got it in anyway. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Ravensberg. Frau Baumann and I appreciate you coming along for the ride. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor. Remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. And until next time, take care.